Hi guys, Naeem here. I hope everybody's doing okay. Welcome back to my channel. I know there's a lot going on right now in the world, a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty with this whole coronavirus situation. And I thought that maybe I could do a little video today just to maybe take your guys' mind off of it. I'm in Thailand right now. It's literally like 35 degrees here, so I'm probably going to start dripping sweat in any moment now. So bear in mind. I wanted to talk about the music industry today and give you some of my thoughts on who I think's hot, who I think's not, some artists that I believe are quite underrated and deserve more limelight and deserve more shine, and also some pet peeves I have basically. One of the things I find to be quite on my nerves is the erasure of alternative sounds. So you'll find that when you listen to the radio these days, it's got a formula to it. So you have the very structured kind of way of writing the song, and you also have the same kind of production from the same producers and the same kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say the music elite. And that small group seems to be kind of steering the ship when it comes to international music, when it comes to music that is played across the whole world. Such a small group of people get to have, I don't know, a say or control in what we hear and what we do. That's an ode to capitalism right there, but we won't go into that. That's for another conversation. The music industry and kind of how it seems to be erasing alternative sounds. And when I say erasing, I don't mean like it makes an effort not to include different types of sounds and different genres. I mean, it's just that the circle is so small, and the producers and the artists that we hear on the radio today, they're not very open to, I guess, outside alternative sounds. And one of the reasons why I think this is important is because music to me has always been a big part of my life, and I've always held it dear to my heart, and so that's why I feel like my standard is really up here when it comes to the type of talent we should be hearing, or the kind of options and variety that we should have access to. And I feel like at the moment there's not much of that at all. I do know that all talent is subjective and all art is subjective, including music. So that is not me coming for anybody personally, but more so the systematic kind of arena of how things work within the music industry, and I have a lot of problems with it. One of the things I do have a problem with is the annoying copy and paste rap verse that seems to be on every, I don't know, song, every female kind of contemporary song. You can think of it now before I even have to say anything more. You have, I don't know, your female artist with the kind of filler rap verse towards the end of the song. I feel like it's lacking in creativity, it's lacking in authenticity. Back in the day, I guess certain singers would reach out to other rappers who they knew were talented, who they knew were on the rise, and they organically would have made a collaboration. They would have possibly sent a message out, spent some time together, actually had a friendship out of something, and then maybe would have agreed to kind of collaborate on a song together. I feel like these days you don't even need to know or even be in the same room as somebody that you may collaborate with. So for example, you have, I don't know, every single Fifth Harmony song, a Camila Cabello song, we all do it, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, everybody does it, and it's annoying because I feel like rapping itself is a whole other subject that I would like to talk about some more, but I feel like it's degraded. The genre in itself is seen as almost like a mimic or a gimmick in something to use on a song that has no kind of creative direction whatsoever. You'll find that a lot of the rap verses on a lot of these songs have no correlation to the rest of the lyrical content of the song, and I find that to be quite frustrating because I feel like there's no effort being made there. And I'm not saying that the lyrics or the flow of the rapper, the said rapper. I mean, kind of just the way that you know that that song was there before, and some producer somewhere just copied and pasted, or just kind of got a rapper to write a verse within 5 minutes that has no real kind of message to it. And I feel like that's not doing any favors to the genre of rap. Another thing I will say is the mumble rappers that are out these days. I feel like the standard for rappers have gone way down. I don't know who's signing these people. I'm a lover of music, so I love hip hop, I love pop music, I love all different types of genres. And I feel like, personally, I've been around long enough to realize or to recognize when the standard isn't being met. And right now, in today's climate, they're not of the caliber of the ones we had from back in the day. You know, the greats, the legends from the 90s. Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent. These are all the classics. This is the standard of hip hop, I feel like. They even came out themselves in an interview, I don't know if you guys have seen it, a couple of years ago, but they were all laughing and mocking the latest rappers of today. They were taking the piss out of them, basically. I have to agree with them, and I feel like if the legends, if the greats of hip hop, like the veterans of hip hop, are saying this is not what is good, and they're saying this is not a good version of hip hop, then I feel like we should take their word for it. They are the veterans, they are the godfathers of hip hop. So I feel like if they're saying this is not good enough, then I don't see why everybody else has to be force fed this shit. I don't know who's signing them and whatnot. Rappers are just popping up out of nowhere that have no kind of backlog of discography, and suddenly they're being kind of pushed right to the forefront of limelight. Like, nobody knows who they are. I feel like the world conflates what black culture does in America to wider social issues on people of color. A lot of music and a lot of culture is used as a kind of example of how we kind of see other people in the world. Black culture and rap and hip hop are intermingled, but the thing is, people aren't realizing to separate the two. So like, a lot of people out there will go around the world and meet different people of color and then try and conflate them with a rapper that they know. And I feel like rap culture is very conflated with black culture, and I feel like the standard and the portrayal of the images that we're getting today from the rap game are not great images. At least Kanye West, or at least Jay-Z and Snoop Dogg, you can actually articulate and hear what they were saying. They actually had a message, they had something to talk about. Whereas in these days, there is no message within hip-hop. I find most, and I'm talking about mainstream hip-hop as well, just to be clear. I'm not talking about the many talented underground rappers that are out there. I want to name a few of them later on as well. I'm talking about the very generic mumble rappers that these labels seem to just attach onto and copy and paste onto each song. I find it detrimental to the genre. I find it detrimental, the messages and the images conveyed these days through rap is detrimental towards wider social black issues. And a lot of people that I know that grew up listening to real hip hop, they do not respect or they do not rate any of these rappers. So I feel like if the general consensus is that nobody really listens to them, why are they being force-fed to us so much? And it's really a question that I need answers to. Similarly to the rappers that I find are just kind of pulled up out of nowhere and just kind of pushed to the forefront of pop culture, singers as well. I won't just get onto the rappers here, I will go onto every kind of genre. I will get onto everybody here. Nobody's safe. Ex-Disney stars. Now, I find this trend to be very annoying, and I think that just because you was in a very popular Disney program and you have an already solidified fan base, we should automatically accept them into mainstream music as if they own a place in it, you know? People like Halsey, people like Camila Cabello, people like Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, Normani. I feel like these are girls, no disrespect to their individual hard work and their talent, but I feel like a lot of these girls are very mediocre in terms of their ability, their creative ability. I wouldn't paint them all under one brush, because I do like, for example, I feel like Miley Cyrus has got a good voice. See, these girls, they can sing. It's not a question whether if they have talent or not. I feel like Demi Lovato, personally, has been around in the industry for years and years and years, and she hasn't really made an impact on mainstream culture just yet. And I know a lot of people will come for me saying that and stuff, and I'm not saying she doesn't have good songs, because I feel like I like her song Skyscraper, that came out years ago. Everything else is kind of forgettable. She is a bit mediocre, and for some reason we have to kind of just take it on. We have to always accept these artists. Also with boy bands and girl bands, I don't understand that if a boy band or a girl band breaks up, suddenly they're automatically entitled to open doors and we must all like enjoy their solo careers. Fair enough, I'm not saying don't make music. That's very authoritarian. Like, obviously make your music, do your thing, but it's more of the industry and the way that it maybe ignores so many underground artists of all different ages and all different genres that have been working for years tirelessly to just kind of catch a break. And then suddenly, if you was in like a girl band or you was in a boy band, we must automatically like listen to you now. You are deserving of everybody's attention. Camila Cabello and Normani, but there's a reason why that they were a girl group, because they were part of a collective, and suddenly now that group has broken up, we have to now hear what every individual has to say. And it seems to me that Camila Cabello and Normani have just been thrust into the mainstream. Like they've been thrust into, like, now Camila Cabello has got a song with this one, has got a song with that one, you know, your typical everybody collaborates with everybody. And I feel like it's so like inorganic. It doesn't feel natural, the way that a lot of these artists are just kind of, doors are open for them and they're just pushed to the forefront without, I don't know, really doing the hard work, really putting in the time. And a lot of the time you'll find that the albums that a lot of these artists put out, they are mediocre. Obviously everything is objective and everything's arguable, but a lot of these mainstream songs are very formula. The same kind of hook, the same kind of pre-chorus, they have that same intro with the copy and paste rap verse in the middle, and it's boring. I feel like there's no creative identity, there's no personality going on in the music industry. And I won't blame the artists, really, because I feel like there's so much control, especially if you're a signed artist, a singer, producer. There's a big control from above, pressing down on these artists to conform, to kind of stay within what's acceptable, what's digestible to the ear, you know? They don't want to take, these labels don't want to take any risks or take any chances on different sounds or, I don't know, different types of people. And it's annoying. It's really annoying, and I'm tired of it. That's why I don't listen to mainstream music anymore. I can't listen to the radio today and enjoy most of the stuff that's on there. A lot of the things I'm like, next, because you have the same artists collaborating with the same people. So you have, I don't know, fucking Ed Sheeran with Justin Bieber, who's now with Halsey, who's with Normani, who collaborates with G-Eazy, who collaborates again with Halsey, and it's like, the music industry is like incestuous. I don't know what it is, and I would love to see a lot of different artists of different sounds and different types of people be allowed access to a more global mainstream platform, instead of this very small group of artists who seem to, I don't know, get all the limelight. I've got a list here of a few artists that I listen to. As you know, when the music industry gets so tireless, boring and repetitive, I have to find myself, I don't know, turning to underground artists or looking on YouTube, clicking that video, just trying to find somebody new. I've got a lot of different people that I listen to now that aren't mainstream. A few of them are Queen Herbie. She's a rapper from America. She was once in a group called Carmen, but now she's rebranded. I find that her flow is really fresh. The labels and the music industry tried to make Iggy Azalea happen. They really tried with that. And I feel like that's why Iggy Azalea got such a backlash, because she came from the outback in Australia to suddenly at 106 and Park, you know. She was everywhere without earning her stripes, you know. She hasn't been on the underground scene doing her thing for so long. But that open door policy to certain people, it didn't work with Iggy Azalea. And I feel like if you look at Queen Herbie, she's more representative of rap for this day and age. Go check her out. She's got a lot of good songs. Sade in the 90s, BDE, Mint. Those are some of my favourite songs of hers. And I feel like her songs should be played on the radio. I feel like she deserves more screen time. Another artist I really like are Majid Jordan. They are a duo from Canada. They are signed to Drake's label, OVO. You don't hear them anywhere on mainstream radio. They do have a small fan base, as a lot of these artists that I will mention, they have small core fan bases, but I feel like they deserve the promotion. Whereas you'll see posters and billboards for the same 5 artists everywhere you go. So it's a Taylor Swift poster, it's a Katy Perry poster, it's Drake poster. Do you know what I mean? It's the same 5-10 artists, and they get all the promotion, whereas I feel like a lot of these very worthy underground artists, they deserve the promotion. They really do. Majid Jordan are definitely one of those artists that I would say deserve a lot more recognition. A few other artists I'm going to mention are Jameson, stylized as JMSN on YouTube. I feel like he's very talented, he's very good. He makes a lot of cool music. His music is very kind of alternative, and while at the same time being kind of digestible, so I could hear this stuff on the radio. It'd be really nice to hear different sorts of sounds and not the same generic fucking, you know, pop beat. Banks. Have you guys heard of Banks? Now, Banks is, I I guess I could say my number one favorite artist. That keeps changing. Her music is very personal, and I feel like she deserves also a bit of shine on the main stage. One thing I love about Banks is that she takes her time when it comes to releasing music. Like every 2.5 years, she'll release an album, and that's the way it used to be back in the day. But these days, it's like everyone's releasing an album once a year or once every 6 months, and it's just like, let us miss you for a little while, you know? Have you ever heard of the saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder? Like, and I guess that's why Rihanna hasn't released an album in what, like 6 years? Because she used to release an album annually, every single November, and everyone would call it Revember. And I guess now she was bored of doing that oversaturation, and she's making us wait for this next album. I know she's busy with her Fenty Beauty stuff, so let her do her thing. But yeah, continuing on, I don't know if any of you've heard Jidenna. I think he's signed to Janelle Monáe's record label. He recently released an album called 85 to Africa, and it's a complete difference from his first album, which is very hip hop, very mainstream. And this second album is very kind of worldly. It's an ode to his roots in Africa. 85 to Africa, that's what it's called. I find it's a really good album from start to finish. I would recommend listening to that album. CL is another good one. I recently found out about CL. CL is one of the veterans of K-pop. So she was in a girl group called 2NE1, and I think she recently went solo. I think she's got a song with Black Eyed Peas. I'm not too sure if that's her, but she's really talented. CL, so just like capitalized C and L. She's got a song on YouTube I just listened to recently, and it's fire. She can dance, she can sing, she can rap. She's in your face, and she's also from Korea as well. So I feel like that's really representative. That's another thing I will mention as well, is that I feel like the music industry do not have certain types of people that I think are way overdue to be seen on the mainstream stage. Like CL, she's from Korea, and she's representing for the K-pop fans, she's representing for Korean culture, and it'd be good to see a different type of face on our screens for once. Peggy Gou is another Asian I love. Oh god, is that racist to say that? And of course I don't love artists based off of their race, but I make sure to remember to listen to music that comes from all different walks of life, that comes from people from different countries, that comes from people that look different to what you're usually used to. I don't see many Asian faces out there in the music industry today. Let me not even get into this, because this is another conversation. I don't think we're ready for this. Obviously, America leads the way when it comes to worldwide music. We all turn to America, most of us, when it comes to mainstream music. You have your Beyoncés and you have your Rihannas and your Taylor Swifts, but it would be very nice to see somebody different. And Peggy Gou, I can't forget about Peggy Gou. She's definitely representing for the Koreans out there, though I do believe she spent a lot of time in Germany. I know I'm being maybe optimistic, or I'm being, I don't know, hopeful, but it'd be good to see a paraplegic person perhaps. I know out there in the world somewhere there is somebody who can sing who is in a wheelchair. Like, come on now. Those people and those characters need to be represented more. Music shouldn't just be delivered through people that look good. You don't have to be attractive or good looking, or from any sort of, you don't have to be anything really. I do wish that I could recommend a bit more diverse people, because a lot of people that I am recommending today are well-bodied and they are perhaps attractive. I wish I could sit here and give you a list of people that are really, certain demographics that are really underrepresented, like, you know, disabled people, really dark-skinned people. I find a lot of the artists out today, especially in R&B, they have to be mixed race or biracial. If you watch a lot of Netflix films, it's very popular right now to add a biracial woman or a biracial girl. She's all the rage right now. I feel like that is society's way of diluting exoticness, you know, that's society's way of diluting some sort of culture that they want to include, but they don't want to include so much. A lot of pop artists today, they are half Spanish and half English, so it's like, if you're biracial, that's just enough colour to be accepted, you know? So it'd be good to see people from that aren't Yeah, I've said this so many times. Kalila, she's another really good artist. She released an album about a year or two ago. I listened to that album from start to finish. It's a really good album. She has a very distinct artistry and sound about her. I feel like she also fits into that kind of melancholy, moody vibe of music. As you can tell, that's my type of music. Forest Swords, they're really recent. My boyfriend recently just got me into Forest Swords. I didn't know who they were before. They're really talented, but they're very alternative as well. So I understand why not every single alternative artist could be played on mainstream radio, but it would still be good for them to be played somewhere on the major world stage. I know there's a lot of people out there that are just waiting for their next favourite song, and if we give some of these artists a chance on the world stage, then maybe a lot of these people will get a chance to find out or find musicians that they never knew that they loved. Forest Swords is very good. I feel like they're very visual. I've watched a lot of their videos on YouTube and they're beautifully artistic, the way that their videos are made. They are unlike anybody else I've ever seen before, so check them out. Kim Petras. Now, Kim Petras, I feel like she's really good. I had heard of her before, but I never really paid attention to her. I thought she was just another run-of-the-mill generic pop girl. But after listening to a few of her songs, I feel like she's a very good pop star. She is, I feel like, what pop is missing, along with, I don't know, Ava Max and Charlie XCX. I know some of them have relative success. I feel like Kim Petras deserves to be in the spotlight. Her vocals are so strong. Her music is just quintessential pop music. I do know Kim Petras is a trans woman, and I feel like in terms of trans visibility, there isn't any in mainstream culture. We like to claim that we are in a very progressive time and it's 2020 and it's okay to be gay now, no one would ever judge you for it. But I would like to see that fact maybe reflected within the industry a bit more, because as much as we claim that we love gay people and we love LGBT people, I am yet to see somebody that is in the mainstream industry that, I don't know, is successful on levels that heterosexual people are. I don't know. I feel like I'm yet to see a trans person become quite mainstream. So Kim Petras is definitely a candidate, I'd say, that deserves more promotion and more spotlight. So go check her out. She's got a lot of good songs. Glass Animals, they are amazing. I love Glass Animals. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They're indie. They recently changed their sound to kind of infuse more hip hop elements to it. I love the lead vocalist. I don't know what his name is, but his voice is so distinctive and it's very addictive. After you fall in love with Glass Animals, you just will know, you'll know one of their songs when you hear it. Nitty Scott, I don't know many of her songs, but the one or two songs I do know, they are really, really good. She's got a really good song called La Diaspora. I feel like the visuals for that song are amazing. She's a very talented rapper. I feel like she deserves a lot more shine in terms of the female rap industry. We can make some room for her because she's very articulate in what she says and her subject matter. Shy Girl, she's good. She's a UK artist. She's from London. I have to rep my fellow London people out here. I think she's just recently started to kind of debut into the industry a bit more. She's still very underground. She's got a song called BB. Go check it out on YouTube. It's a really good song. I love that song. It manipulates her vocals and it manipulates the production in a way that sounds very new and very fresh. Amalu, another fellow Londoner that I love. She's so cool. She's got such a vibe about her. She's given me very soulful kind of, I don't know, Sade vibes from the late 90s, early 80s kind of thing. Actually, that's not right, is it? I don't know what time period I was talking about. Miss Banks, that's another artist. There's a subgenre in the UK called grime music, and this is for those American people out there or anyone listening that's not from England, and it's a very popular genre within England, and it's basically UK rap. It's slowly starting to get its shine within mainstream culture. Is slowly finding its way into, I don't know, the wider consciousness. And one of the artists I do like, there are so many good artists in the grime industry, from Stormzy, from Skepta, JME. I'm probably really old with some of the people that I'm saying because I'm not the biggest grime head, so I wouldn't know all the artists. But Miss Banks, she's a UK rapper. She's really, really good. I feel like her voice is very digestible on the ears. She has a very smooth tone. I really like her song called Snack. Go check it out. I like her song with Tinashe as well, which I find is really cool because that's American artists now kind of going out of their comfort zone to include artists from different backgrounds. So hearing Miss Banks on a song with Tinashe, it sounded like home for me. It sounded like it's something that was meant to happen, something we was always waiting for. And Tinashe is another one I'm interested in because she actually is considered mainstream music and she was around for a good couple of years. I know a lot of people will know who Tinashe is, but I didn't realize that she has a music sound that I find is very underrated. When it comes to a lot of these other pop girls like Ariana Grande and other girls doing R&B, they seem to get a lot more praise for doing the same thing that I feel like Tinashe has been doing for years now. Now, I was sleeping on Tinashe. I thought she was another run-of-the-mill R&B pop girl that didn't have much to her, but after listening to her album, or a few of her albums, especially the most recent one called Songs for You, that is her first album since she went independent. So I believe that she parted ways with her label and that allowed her to be a lot more creatively free. So she was able to collaborate with people from England. She was able to collaborate or include sounds that she never did before. Now that she's independent, she's going to need the support more than ever. So go listen to her new album, Songs for You. It's an amazing album from start to finish. Lana Del Rey, she's amazing. She's the indie queen. Lana Del Rey is queen. She is the one. I feel like Lana Del Rey is actually really successful. If you look at her first album sales, she sold a lot of copies in Europe, almost 5 million copies, and I believe it's still on the charts in America right now. So to call Lana underrated or unsuccessful would be a mistake, though I kind of wish that a lot more people knew about Lana Del Rey because she's bringing a very nostalgic vibe back. There's not anybody else like her out in the industry, I feel, right now. She gets a lot of comparisons with Billie Eilish and Lorde, who are compared with her a lot, but I feel like Lana sits within a lane of her own in terms of the music that she produces. Lady Leisha, I feel like should have made it mainstream a long time ago. Her video Queen's Speech, I think Queen's Speech 4, it went viral about 5 years ago. Now, when a video goes viral online, most companies will try to capitalize off of that viral success. They will push you, or they will take an artist that was nobody before, and once they've gone viral, the doors will seem to open for them. I'm not understanding why this didn't happen for Lady Leisha, because after her Queen's Speech video went viral, nothing was done with the momentum. Now, obviously, an artist is as good as their team, and obviously, she might not have had a great team behind her. A lot of American people had heard the Queen's Speech song, and I feel like she could have had an access or a way into the American market being a UK rapper. She's from Birmingham. She's very talented. She's what I would call a true MC. She's a lyrical genius. She can run rings around most people, and I feel like she's got a very easy voice, and she deserves to be more known. People deserve to hear her name a lot more, and for some reason, she hasn't made it yet. She hasn't broken through yet. So it would be really good to hear more of Lady Leisha on the charts. Maybe the doors could be opened a bit more for her. Someone could, I don't know, it's easy, just somebody collaborate on her. We go to these rappers all the time to fill all of the pop songs, but why not take a chance on somebody that's different? Lady Leisha could go into a pop song and murder it. I know that she would kill a song with, I don't know, Nicki Minaj, with Bruno Mars, with somebody, and if somebody gave her a chance, who knows what could happen. Another thing I wanted to talk about was this myth that the music industry seems to cater to the general public. So you'll hear a lot of people be like, well, it's not what the people want. The audience don't want to hear that. The general public won't listen to somebody like that. We can't take a risk on somebody that is not digestible enough for us. And I feel like that myth that the music industry caters to the public because the public know what they want, that is not true. I don't feel like that's true at all. Adele is contradictory to the rule. She is proof that you don't need to do any gimmicks, you don't need to bloody go above and beyond to do all of this nonsense just to be successful. She's proof of that. I feel like the music industry needs to stop chatting BS and give chances to those that they think will not be accepted into wider society. Have more faith in humanity. Have more faith in the general public to accept somebody that you think that we wouldn't generally listen to. I would listen to anybody. If the music is good, if the talent is there, I don't care what you look like or where you're from. So this whole myth that we must only sign this person because they fit into that category, or she fits with those that lot, she must fit into the indie scene. It's very segregational, and they're segregating everybody into cliques, musical cliques. If you don't fit into that clique, you might not get a chance to ever be heard on the world stage. And I feel like that's one thing that the music industry needs to stop doing. They need to stop sanitizing creativity so much, because that's why I feel like everybody's so bored of the music industry, because they're trying so hard to try and fit an artist into a box and make them change their looks or make them change their sounds to fit to a standard that they think everybody wants. But we don't care. We will accept anybody. You just need to be genuine. So please put pressure on these labels somehow. I don't know how. Boycott Sony, boycott Universal. Go and support those artists that are less heard. Go and look, go and research, go and find out people that you've never heard before. I know that if you go on YouTube or if you go on SoundCloud, you can find countless underground artists that need the support, that need the attention. You'll be surprised enough to find your next favourite song out there somewhere. There is more to life than a David Guetta or a Calvin Harris featuring What So. There's more to life than just your general top 40 music out there. Yeah, you get it. Awa. I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly, but Awa is A-W-A. I don't know if that's the way to say it, but she is really good. I recently found out about her a couple of weeks ago, and she's got a song called Like I Do, which is a really, really good song. I feel like she can fit so well into the music industry today, especially for a dark-skinned female too. Dark-skinned people in the music industry are only reserved for the hip-hop or the urban genres. Like, it's very segregational. I want a pop star. I want a dark-skinned pop star who is not just Taylor Swift. I'm waiting for my next Korean, my next Japanese, Asian pop girl to come out. I'm waiting for my dark-skinned African queen to come out. I'm waiting for an Indian girl to come out. I feel like pop music is very secluded right now. It's not diverse at all. And as much as we like to preach that everything is diverse, we are in the age of diversity, it's not true. Like, I feel like, especially with the music industry, that's where there is the least diversity, and that needs to be changed. Angel Hayes is a really good artist. She's a rapper from New York. Go check her out. I feel like she has a lot to say within her musical content. These rappers today, they don't say nothing. They don't say shit. They're not providing me with any sort of anything. They're not providing me with any intellectual growth. And I don't mean music has to be like so intellectual, but say something, have a message, like, you know what I mean? Have a little bit of creativity, you know, when you write your verses. You know, it's just so boring. And I feel like Angel Hayes, she's one of those rappers who say so much within her verses. She talks about life, she talks about generational dysfunction, she talks about everything and anything. That's what rap is about. Rap was born in New York City out of struggle, out of poverty, out of I don't know, the dissatisfaction, police brutality. It came out of a place of discomfort, out of a place of wanting to fight back, and that's the whole attitude of it. So for it to be diluted these days by this younger generation of rappers who don't bring any substance to it, do not bring any soul or life into the music, I feel like it's detrimental, and we need more rappers who are saying something. People like Kendrick Lamar, people like J. Cole, are people that are saying something, you know? Like, these people, you can actually understand what they're saying, which is the number one rule, I think, is be understandable. At the end of the day, we may not be able to change anything that's out there. These record labels, they are on the steering wheel of what we get to see and what we get to hear on our mainstream TV. So the only thing that we can do is go out there and support underground artists, go and support artists that are less heard. And by doing that, I guess that's how we'll get them known more, and then perhaps they'll have a bigger chance of going into mainstream success. The reason why I'm so passionate about the music industry and talking and so opinionated about a lot of these things is because since before I knew, music was one of the only things in my life that inspired me. It was one of the things that shaped me. It was one of those things that made me into who I am. I know that sounds very cheesy and stuff. It made me into who I am. It shaped who I became today. But it really did. It honestly shaped who I was. It's a soundtrack to life. It's a soundtrack to my life. So I feel like that the standard for it should be really, really high. And I know a lot of people out there, music for them is just something they listen to when they're working out or if they go to the club, and music isn't something that maybe is in their soul. Not to judge about the capacity of your soul or anything, but for some people, music is not that important, and for others, it's their everything. And for me, it's my everything. So for the global music stage to be so void of creativity, to be so missing of just natural kind of organic talent, it's really annoying, because this is the music that's going to shape generations ahead of us. If aliens do come down in 20 years time, find some good music, find taste. I want them to find talent. I want them to be able to, you know, find some good shit. And right now it's not good. It's subpar, everything that's out there, most things that are out there. These labels give them all of their promotion, they give them all of their money, so they can't really ruffle too many feathers unless they want to be shunned or blacklisted out of the industry. But again, thank you for listening to my rants today. I have a lot to say, and I'll be saying a lot more if you guys want to hear it. So let me know your opinions. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying, or if you think I had it completely wrong. I think there's a lot more to be said about this conversation, but obviously the sun is going down right now and I'm going to lose my good lighting. So before I start looking all terrible, I'm going to end the video now. But we'll continue this. Let me know, comment, subscribe. If you like this makeup look, let me know, and I may do a YouTube tutorial for you all. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay at home, and hopefully we can resume our normal lives very soon and this whole drama will be over. But yeah. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.